Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to PSD to HTML for designers. I'm Adi, and in today's lesson we'll finish our gallery. So this is what it looks like currently. We have all the markup, all the plugins in place. All we have to do is style it. And we'll style it to make it look just like this. Okay, so let's begin with the overall style. Let's see, div class section gallery. Okay, let's add that background. URL, images. Let's see, it's pattern light JPG. All right. Okay, so we have a nice pattern now. Let's center the text. So text align center. Let's add the 3M padding. Okay, let's color those headings. Oops, color light BG heading 2. Also, let's add the text shadow. All right. And what else? The transition here between the white background and the texture one isn't really great. And neither is this on the bottom. So what we can do about it is go to the top and we'll do this. We'll add a box shadow. We can also add like a stroke, but I prefer a box shadow. 0, -1 pixel on the y-axis, 1 pixel blur, 0 spread, and let's do like a very faint black, 0, 0, 0, and about 0.1. All right, so that looks pretty good. It created almost like a stroke, only it's smoother, and it creates a nice transition. Okay, and let's fix the bottom as well. So I'll grab this and I'll just paste it right here to the footer CTA. Okay, so it creates the same effect. All right, now we can start working on the actual slideshow, on the actual slider. So the class, if you remember, is cycle slideshow. This is what we're gonna style. So copy that, and we'll start with some margins, top and bottom. So let's say about 3 ms, and also we want to center it. So we'll say auto. All right. To center it, of course, we need to specify a width. So I'll say width 100%. And also I'll specify a max width of about 600 pixels. Okay. So this one right here, 570. So I just rounded it to 600 pixels. Okay, now this doesn't look exactly right because the images are still at full size. So let's go ahead and target those images. Oops, and we'll say width 100%. Okay, and they will resize to the width of the container. Let's also specify the height. So auto, it's gonna be proportional to the width. And since we're working on the image, let's go ahead and add that shadow. If you can see, there's a shadow behind the image. Okay, so height box shadow. I'm using the mix in here. So let's do 0x, 0y, 10 pixels for blur, 0 spread, and RGBA, let's do black, about 0.3. Okay, and now as you can see, let me actually do this. Okay, very strong shadow behind it, and 0.3 is just a very subtle shadow behind it. Okay, so our actual slideshow is positioned correctly now. It's time to work on the buttons, the navigation buttons. In our case, they have the class of cycle prev and cycle next. Now, these will be shown, they will show these two buttons, which are part of a sprites image. Okay, and they are 42 by 42. So let's go ahead and say this: cycle prev and cycle next, they share a number of properties. One of them is the position. It's absolute. Yeah, they are positioned absolutely compared to the actual image. So of course the image needs to have the position relative. Okay, so position absolute. Let's specify a width, 42 pixels, height, 42 pixels. Let's set the display to block. And what else? Let's set a cursor to pointer, so they look like buttons. Okay, so first thing, let's get rid of the text since we're showing an image. And let's do this, cycle prev. All right, we must specify a background position. But before that, let's actually set the background image for both of them to images, sprites, PNG. Okay, good. So cycle prev, let's give it a top of 50%, so it's positioned at the middle of the container. And let's do a left of minus 6 ems. So it's all the way to the left right here. Okay, and finally we'll do background position. Let's see, bring up the grid. So it's 0 for X and minus 128. So 0 minus 128 pixels. And there it is. That's our button. Of course, we need to add the hover state. So we'll do this hover, background position, and we got to target this icon right here, which is minus 128 and minus 128. Yeah. And there it is. Now, even though I positioned the image at 50% top, it still doesn't align because the top left corner is at 50%. Yeah. In order to position it perfectly, we must specify a margin top with a negative value of half its size. Right? So I'm gonna go margin top minus 21 pixels. Okay, so now this is positioned perfectly at the middle of of the image. In other words, if for instance you want to draw like a line like this, yeah, the middle of the button matches perfectly the middle of the image. All right, let's do the same for the right button, or the cycle next. So I just copied and pasted cycle next, top 50%. I'm gonna switch this to right. Okay, margin top is the same. Background position, this one changes a little bit because this and this are the images that we need. So this is -64 and 128. And this right here is -192. All right, and there it is. So click and it changes. Perfect. Of course, you can work on the transition and choose different effects, but for now, this will work just fine. Okay, finally, we need to style this caption right here, yeah? And it's called alt caption. Okay, and it needs to look like this, italic. The color is the same as the text color, and also we need to add these characters before and after it. Okay, so alt caption, I will do font. It's going to be italic. It's going to be 14 pixels on 21 pixels, and it's going to use the serif font. Perfect. And now for these two elements, the minus in front and after the text, I'll just do this. Before content and of course after content. And there it is. All right, and that's it for this lesson, guys. We have a fully working slider, and if you check it on a mobile device, it will also support the swipe gestures. Okay, in the next lesson, we'll grab all of our images and make them Retina ready. So if again you're checking this on a Retina device, you'll see that some of the images are blurry because, of course, a Retina device has a much higher pixel density than a normal device. It has twice the pixel density. So we'll use a very nice CSS technique to detect and also to make the images Retina ready. Okay, well, that's about it for this lesson. Thank you for watching again. This is Adi. Bye-bye.